Yo, thank you guys for tuning in to the Real Kens TV. Won't keep you long. I want to tell a brief story, man. It's kind of a disturbing story, and I went back and forth as far as if I was going to tell the story or not. But I want to talk about a situation what happened in prison one time. Um, Not glorifying anything that happened in prison. The basis of me telling some of my prison stories is I want to deter the young folks or anybody uh, for that matter, as far as committing a crime that could land you in prison. Because when you're in prison, it's a whole different set of rules. So, with that being said, I'm gonna get into the next story. I was locked up. It was a gentleman. I don't want to use his name, and I would say at the time he was probably in his 50s. He was in his 50s, and he was telling me a story. You know, I wasn't in the room. I was there, but I wasn't in the room. Now, this particular prison, you had two-man cells. You know, all prisons are not cells. So what you see on TV, where you have the bars and you have, two guys in the cell, all prisons are not, constructed like that. A lot of times you have an open dorm like an army barracks or something like that. But this particular prison was a medium level security prison. So you had cells. So basically what ended up happening was the gentleman that was telling me the story, he was in the cell with another gentleman that snored real loud. Now, for all of y'all that's been locked up, especially those that's been in prison, that's a huge problem. A huge problem. But it's really messed up because at the end of the day, you can't help if you snore. That's just something that, you can't help it. So he had been telling the guy, like, listen, man, your snoring's keeping me up at night. I like you, you cool, but I can't get any sleep because by the time I come in and, I do what I need to do for the night or whatever, and I'm ready to lay it down and go to sleep, you already sleep. So therefore, I can't get any sleep because you're snoring so loud. Now, prison cells are very, very small. A little bit larger than the size of a bathroom. And it's two guys in there. You got two cell, or you got two, it's like a bunk bed. You know what I'm saying? You got a lower bunk, you got an upper bunk. You got a toilet, you got a sink, which is right above the toilet. It's usually connected to the toilet. And you have a couple lockers. He'll have a locker, you'll have a locker. And there's a table with a chair. And that's it. That's what a cell consists of. And it's two of you all. So a lot of times, loud noises such as snoring, it echoes off the wall. So if you're trying to sleep and somebody's snoring, it goes from this wall to that wall to this wall to the ceiling to the ground. It's like it just echoes, back and forth. So nevertheless, he had been telling the guy, like, listen, man, I can't get no sleep. So, it got to the point to where the guy that was telling me the story, he ended up going to the staff. And there you have what's called, I'm in Kentucky. We call them caseworkers. So your caseworker, you go to your caseworker when you're having a problem. And he went to the caseworker and asked him, could he be moved cells because he was having trouble sleeping because this guy snored. Ain't on no snitching shit, nothing like that. He was just trying to avoid a situation from getting out of hand. Well, they never would let the guy, move out or what have you, switch cells. So this just consistently went on. And he's telling me, hey, man, I'm not going to keep dealing with this guy snoring. He's having big dreams. He's, turning over in his sleep and he's got his pillow clutched. And I'm sitting here like, I can't go to sleep. So eventually he goes to the, his cellie and he says, hey, man, I've tried to get moved out. Why don't you go to the people? Won't you go to the people and tell them, man, like, listen, man, I need to move sales or whatever because this is not working out. Well, the guy didn't want to do that. He's playing tough guy. In prison, you don't talk to staff. You know, you don't go to staff and tell them anything that's going on. You handle it yourself. So, like I said, as time went on, the problem was getting worse and worse. So one particular night, excuse me, one particular night, I guess it was just that night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, dude's trying to go to sleep. He can't sleep. Now, he had been trying to go to sleep, but I guess it hit the fan at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So what he does now, mind you, let me rewind because I never told y'all, this guy's in there for attempted murder. Shot somebody 3 times with a shotgun. Just the person didn't end up dying, and he was able to testify against him. So he ended up getting, I want to say he had 38 years. 38 years. And at this particular time, he had only been locked up maybe 2 or 3 years. So just think about all that time that he has left. He has 2 or 3 years in on a 38-year sentence. So I want to say the type of sentence that he had to end up doing maybe 7.5 years before he went up for parole. Because even though he shot somebody with a shotgun, it wasn't deemed as violent. If it was deemed as violent, he would have had to do 85%. But this particular case, it wasn't deemed as violent because of, the particulars of the case or whatever. The guy had a knife or what have you. So he had to do 7.5 years before he went up for parole. Never had a criminal record. Never. I don't even think the guy ever had a speeding ticket. So this particular night, he's sitting there. He's laying in his bed. He can't go to sleep. The guy's on the upper bunk. He's fed up. He grabs his laundry bag. A laundry bag in prison is like a net bag. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bag with the little holes in it, like a net bag. He grabs his laundry bag. He grabs 2 cans of chili. Now in prison, man, those chili cans are pretty big. You know what I mean? He grabs 2 cans of chili. Puts them in his bag. He sits there and he's contemplating. He's really contemplating what he's going to do. He wakes the gentleman up one more time. Wakes the gentleman up one more time. Politely tells him, hey, bro, I'm going to need you to go tell the people, man, that you need to get out of this cell fast. Because I haven't had sleep in days, man. And, I can't sleep. You're snoring. The guy kind of shrugs him off like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm going back, and goes back to sleep. Okay. Dude sits there. Wakes him up another time. Hey, man, it's the last time I'm going to tell you, man. I'm not getting no sleep because you're snoring so loud. So the guy gets a little agitated. Well, I can't help it. I'm snoring. What you want me to do? Okay. Goes back to sleep. A little while longer. He takes that bag while the dude is asleep on his back. Boom! Boom! Smashes him like 3 times. The guy ends up waking up. Blood shoots out everywhere. What's going on, man? What you doing? It's kind of like he was lightweight in shock. Because, just imagine you in a dead sleep. You knocked out. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. And somebody just hits you upside the head with a bag that's tied tightly. So those 2 cans is basically like one big can. And smacks you upside the head 3 times while you sleep. Man, that's all it took. That guy definitely got out of there. Now in prison, you have a no snitch policy. So he never told exactly what happened. I think he told the people like he fell off the the top rack, the top bunk, which that does happen. And in prison, those floors are concrete, and that happens from time to time. You'll fall out that top bunk and smash your head on the ground. And so, the people pretty much knew that that's not what happened, but as long as he didn't say that that's what happened, everything was going to be okay. Now, the thing about it, the guy told me I could have killed him. If I had hit him a few more times, I probably would have killed him. And he was like, at that particular moment, I didn't really too much care because I'm already in my 50s. This is him talking to me. I'm in my early 50s. I think he was in his late 40s at the time. I'm sorry. I'm in my late 40s. I got all this time to do before I even have a chance of going home. Just because I go up for parole in 7.5 years, it don't mean they're going to let me go home. I shot somebody. I got a 38-year sentence, so they have a lot of room to play with me. And this guy ended up doing about 17.5 years before he eventually went home, which was, about 14.5, 15 years later after this occurrence. So the basis of me telling you this story is, again, not to try to glorify anything about prison, because prison sucks. You don't want to go there. I'm telling you, you do not want to go to prison. If you're out here and you're struggling, you're having a hard time, man, keep struggling and having a hard time as far as working that job, get you a second job, get you a third job if that's what it takes. So that's what I mean when I say keep struggling. Do not put yourself in a situation, man, because when you go to prison, man, you in there with the lions, tigers, and bears, and can't nobody save you. And people don't care nothing about you. They trying to go home to their families at the end of the day. They don't care nothing about you. You might be a check writer, man. You in there with a dude that killed 4 people, 5 people. So, you just want to understand that when you out here in this real world, it's a privilege, man, because it's a jungle in prison, man. And hopefully this story that I tell you all reaches, some people that are out here not doing the right thing or is not necessarily on the up and up. I encourage you all to share my video because this is real talk. I'm not making this up. This is real talk. Dude could have literally died in his sleep, but the guy had a little mercy for him and didn't kill him. But he was definitely lumped up. He looked like Willie Lump Lump. He was definitely lumped up. As anybody would be. You get smacked upside the head with 2 cans of chili. You know what I mean? So, again, I just want y'all to take heed. Understand that prison plays totally different rules in there, man. It's a jungle in there. And if you don't have no street connects when you in there, you not affiliated or you don't really know anybody like that, or, man, you're going to have a rude awakening. So hopefully, if you're thinking about doing something wrong, you're thinking about veering left, on that fork in the road, man, let this story be your deterrent. The Real Kens TV. Until next time.